The control of speech is almost complete. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect, Shalom Barakatham. I just saw this article. I'm just gonna read from it, but this is based on a lesson I've been wanting to do, over the weekend when the news came out, with TikTok. All right. And that's why I titled this lesson, the control over free speech is almost complete. Okay. Because they have been controlling it. They have been neutering it and nerfing it. Okay. And getting people to spin or spinning narratives to you, to get people to go down these pathways, these narratives of what's real and what's not real. Most average everyday Americans, if you stop and just have a small talk with somebody, you'll be fine. If you go past small talk with the average person and you start to ask them basic questions, you'll find out very quickly the vast majority of these people don't know nothing, man. Okay. I even found out one of my bosses, at work, he's like, I have my headphones in. He said, "What you listening to?" I'm just catching up on some news and stuff. And he said, "Oh man, I don't even pay attention to the news. I don't know what's going on." And that's true for a lot of people. See, brothers that are, we're prophets, we're watchmen. Okay, so we're constantly engulfed in the news and recent events and what's happening. But there's a lot of people that don't even watch, man. Okay. So when they start seeing things become trends from TikTok and these social media sites, they're not going to know where it's coming from. Okay. And that's the spirit, because I'm going to type in "whence it came." Okay. Which is going to be, no, that's not the right one. I'm thinking about Isaiah 47. Yeah, I'm gonna get it in Isaiah 47 real quick, but I'm gonna read part of this headline, or this article. It says, TikTok hires Israeli army instructed to lead new hate speech division to police American speech. All right, it says TikTok has quietly handed the keys to its new American hate speech division to an Israeli military operative with deep ties to Israeli intelligence. All right, this is not, notice it's not being blared over the headlines over and over and over again. Alternative news sources will cover it. There'll be a press release. They'll announce it, but it's not going to be, they're not going to Charlie Kirk it. Okay. Where the president's giving out statements, they're making up, they're making big deals about it on all of the news channels. And they're constantly repeating it over and over and over again, where it's dominating the news cycle. Okay. They're not going to do that here because, they don't really want you to know who's responsible for what's coming next, which is basically bending the knee, bowing to the image. Okay. That is coming. Okay. It says, with deep ties to Israeli intelligence, as Israel continues to tightening its grip over social media platforms and policing what Americans are allowed to say online. Okay. And you got to know that the most of these social media sites that are run, they are run by them. Okay. Susan Wojcicki, who was the head of YouTube, I believe she is she's in the spirit world now. Or is she in the spirit world, or did she retire? I can't remember. But that was run by small hats. Okay. Google, Eric Schmidt. Okay. He's a small hat, man. Okay. I believe it's a different CEO now. They put a Elamite, I believe, over it or something now. Amazon has a small hat CEO now. And Jeff Bezos is he owns most of it, but he hired a CEO to run that, man. Okay. So Mark Zuckerberg, okay, Facebook and Instagram. So they've been controlling it. Okay. These are all back doors to the intelligence agencies. Okay. If you don't know. Okay. So this is just the latest takeover because China started this app. Okay. So they're taking it over. So now they'll have complete control over the minds of people, mainly the youth, which they have not been able to get back in order ever since they went in on you know, them Palestinians over there, okay? But back to the point of what I was saying was most people are not paying attention to the news. They're not locked in. They're just being fed things. There's no analysis, there's no critical thinking. So when all hell breaks loose, they're not gonna know what's going on, okay? See? Let me see. Let me find the point here in the verse, Isaiah 47. All right, and it says, let me see. I might be thinking about Ezekiel. Oh no, that's it. This is it. Isaiah 47:8. Therefore thou now hear this, thou that art given into pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. And this is the sentiment you see a lot on social media. The people that have the least are the most proud. Okay, that is demonic. Okay, that is by design for them to get you to be proud at owning nothing. The people that own the house, you don't own the house. The house owns you. Okay, the house doesn't have to get up and go to work. Okay, to pay for itself. The house is going to be there whether you live there or not. Okay, if you can't pay the bill, fine. The bank is going to kick you and your shit out. Okay, keep all the interest they charge you and put somebody else in there, and then the next dummy is going to pay off the interest. Well, you're not really a dummy because you don't really have a choice, but you kind of are now buying a house in this market unless unless you know what you're doing. Okay, but that's just an example. Okay, you're proud of these things, owning a home, getting a degree. Well, that's a snare. That's servitude. You gotta pay that loan back. Okay, education ain't free here. Okay. So this whole spirit you see on the internet of everybody talking shit, that is set up by Esau Edom, man. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why he needs to maintain control of these algorithms, because that's been his main tool to get people to bow to the image, which I'm going to get in Revelation 13 in a second. Okay, and it says, verse 9, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, and one day the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, okay, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. All right, and this is talking to all of America. You're all distracted under a covering cast, and these people are making sure you stay that way by maintaining their power over these social media sites. Okay, the vast majority of people, they're spending significant amounts of their time outside of working and helping enrich Esau on the internet, online. Okay, their whole their body self-worth, their image, and how they see themselves and value themselves and see other people, it's all filtered through social media. Okay, if your woman is nagging you about this and that, more than likely she got something from social media. Okay, if you got kids and they want this and that and this and that, social media is feeding these algorithms, man. Okay, that's how it works. That's why social media companies have become the new oil and steel companies. They're in the early 1900s, the biggest companies in the world were either oil, steel, you know, maybe copper, you know, commodities, things that build up industries. But now it's all tech and social media. Why? Because that's where all the money is. The new gold is data. Okay, and so y'all don't see these things. So the men of the Lord because we already got our antennas up, you know, scanning for wickedness, okay, to warn the sheep. And it says, verse 10, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. All right. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. Okay, so people, they see you, man. Okay, not only do they see you, they know what you're going to do before you do it. Okay. And ultimately, this is the Most High, you know, orchestrating all of this. Okay. So, but the social media has lulled you into a place of security, of thinking that you're good, but you're not. Okay. You've been racking up offenses to the Heavenly Father unknowingly. Okay. And it's not in your heart and your spirit to repent. Okay. It says, and thou said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. Okay, and that was kind of the main point that I wanted to, bring out, because a lot of people just aren't plugged in. They don't know what's going on. Okay, and Esau can do media blackouts. He can do distractions. Okay, I'm sure Diddy will be coming back up any minute now. To just look over here again while he does something wicked. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Diddy does have a trial next month, or his sentencing is next month in October, which we expect to have some bullshit go down on the October surprise next month. Okay. It says, and desolation shall come upon thee. It says, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. So it's going to fall on you. You're not going to be able to get it off of you. And it's going to hit you suddenly. But you had signs. Okay. You saw the roof was leaking and the ceiling was bowing down, but you didn't move. Okay. So whatever's up there is going to fall down on your ass, man. Okay. It says, and the desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. How do you not know this? Okay. That's part of the witchcraft here. For them to let you see things, but you still don't comprehend or know it. Okay. That's what a veil is. Okay. You can kind of see behind it, but you can't tell what it is. You just see something behind it, but you don't know what it is. All right. It says, let me go on. Let me read a little bit more of this article. I'm going to go over the Revelation. Try not to make these too long, 12 minutes. It says, Erica Mendel, an instructor in the Army Corps and the Israeli Army spokesperson unit, was announced Monday as TikTok's new public policy manager for hate speech in the U.S. They are directly putting these people over hate speech. Why? Because the hate speech is not about, they're not worried about the N-word being said, okay? They're not worried about the F-A-G-G-O word, O-T word, okay? They're not worried about those words. They're not worried about that kind of hate speech. They're not worried about hate speech against minorities and the rainbow people, okay? They're worried about hate speech towards one group of people, okay? And it's clearly and obvious as day. Larry Ellison is a small hat who bought it. Silver Lake is an organization run by small hats. They're a private equity firm or venture capital firm, whatever you want to call them. The other guy is another small hat. They all got together to purchase this, man. And then you have cybersecurity run by them, okay? And now their head of policy is run by them. You see? So this should be very clear and plain to see what's going on now. Okay? It says, according to TikTok's own description of her role, Mendel will not only develop and drive the company's positions on hate speech, but also influence legislative and regulatory frameworks. So they're gonna lean, and Donald Trump is just gonna do whatever they say, man. Okay, and pretty soon you're not gonna have a choice. Okay, because this is not about them feeling. This is not about them having their feelings hurt about mean words on the internet. Okay, this is about you bending the knee. Make no mistake about that. All right. Revelation 13:11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had horns, 2 horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. Okay. And we always break this down to you as the left and the right wing of this society, which presents things as democracy and freedom. Okay. Like they love that word, freedom. Okay, but what is it really? It's really just the illusion of choice, okay? Because they can't tell you that you don't have a choice. Otherwise, you'll rebel. You'll get out of pocket. They have to make sure that you believe that there's a choice, but there really isn't a choice, okay? That's why it says he spake as a dragon. That's why no matter what's popular in America, things only go one direction, okay? Because it's one eagle, okay? 2 wings, 1 eagle. Okay. In this case, the dragon. It says, and he exercises the power, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast. See, you got to worship it, man. What's the first beast? It's the Roman Empire, which is the Edomite hegemony, okay? Those 10 nations, okay, which have been further balkanized since then. I think the EU's got, is up to like, 70 countries or something now, okay? But there's still those same 10 horns, man, okay? Those 10 kingdoms, all right? That's the image. They're the old way, man, okay? They're recycling everything. And you really don't have a choice, man, okay? They'll try to shame you and do this and that, but you really don't have a choice. They'll label you. They'll put a label on you. They'll either call you a terrorist or they'll call you a dictator, okay? And then once they do that, those are like buzzwords that they programmed in the minds of the American people to be okay with violence against you. You see, once they can successfully label you some of those words, it's like a mark. They mark you with those words. And now when something violent or vicious happens to you, they either cheer it on or they just have no reaction to it. Okay? They did the same thing with bin Laden, the same thing with Saddam Hussein. They did the same thing to Gaddafi. And Gaddafi was doing the right thing, man. Okay? But they put them labels on him, and then what? Nope, they took that guy out, and even though people kind of look back and know it was wrong, they don't riot out like, why did you do that? Because that witchcraft worked, okay? And they used, and then the main tool for this is social media. This is why TikTok had to be brought into the fold, okay? It says, continuing on, it says, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So they let you know when the Roman Empire fell, it didn't die, okay? It came back, okay? And then this is the modern day revised version, the reborn version of the first Roman Empire, okay? It says, verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Okay, so that should be a clue of who these people are, man. That they have this power to do that. Only the Western nations really have this power. Okay. Now Russia and China have caught on post World War II to achieve these things. Okay, and that's the Lord's doing, because they're going to be part of the recipe of this guy going down in the Third World War. Okay, it says, verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. So he deceived all of you, man. Okay? He deceived everybody. All right? And it says that they should make an image to the beast that had the wound by a sword and did live. Okay? And so Donald Trump is forwarding this image, man. That's why he renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Okay? This is why he's building a ballroom in the White House and redoing everything, okay? He's trying to throw his weight around and set up things because he wants the image, you know, to be glorified. But people are not gonna glorify it. They'll glorify it in public, but deep down, Esau, you're getting scoffed everywhere, man. Every country, nobody likes you, man. Okay, Charleston White said that too. He was on point with that. Okay, which we've been saying that before him, but you know, when a nigga of the world say it, maybe you'll believe it. All right, it says, and cause, verse 15, and he had the power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, okay, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. This is where this is going, okay? This is going there. Okay, you're not going to have a choice. And the men of the Lord are not going to be on the highways and byways forever. Okay, we don't have much longer here, okay? I sincerely doubt it we make it to 2030. You know, we hoping this year this thing goes down, you know? But we're going to see, okay? It says, and he causeth both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive a mark in their right hand and in their forehead. See, once he successfully cuts off these other philosophies, you want to bow to other things, besides the image. Okay, once he successfully does that, he's gonna force this charagma on you, man. Okay. Mark our words, when this speech gets fully neutered, okay, and you literally can't speak a certain thing, like over there in the UK right now, the police will show up to your house over something you said on social media. They'll knock on your door. Literally, they do that over there. They'll knock on your door because of something you said. People are getting arrested because they said things that weren't nice about certain groups of people. Okay? That's coming to America, man, despite having the First Amendment. Because they've proven that they don't give a damn about that, okay? And when that happens, the charagma is right there. That's why verse 16 is written, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, because that's all that's left, man. Okay? Once you know the population is gonna bow and do this and that, you're just gonna take everything from them, okay? That's how that goes down. Okay? So we're not ignorant to Satan's devices, as the scriptures say, man. You know? So we're gonna continue to watch these devils and see how these things develop. But you people that can't snap out of it, that are settled, you're scared, you better figure it out, man. Okay? Because when the Lord flips the switch on this place, that is a wrap. Okay? So with that, Lowell, this is edifying. Call hello Yahweh Bashimi Hawashai. Shalom. Kwam Yasharala.